We've got some board gaming Q&A, and at first I thought this was kind of a more of a wargaming Q&A question. Rage quitting. Has anyone ever experienced playing a board game and someone just flips out? Someone just loses it and just wipes the table or clears the table. Has that ever happened? Now, thinking back, it's never happened to me. I've never really seen it happen in a board gaming setting, but the board gaming club and the groups I play with, we're not like small groups, but we're not like 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 people playing board games. It's not like a massive group compared to, say, a wargaming or a Dungeons and Dragons type element. But I've never really seen anybody rage quit in terms of board games. Could I see it? Possibly. I think if it was a competitive type command and conquer game, if you're playing Game of Thrones and everyone's kind of just trash talking and ganging up on you, I could kind of see that. If it's more of a fighting based game or an overlord based game like a dungeon crawler, Descent, well, I mean, are you really going to rage quit over that? Like, we're going into Descent or we're going into Hero Quest where I'm playing the overlord. My job is to try and kill you. And your job is to try and defeat everything you throw against me. So I feel like you kind of go into the game knowing what to expect. And unlike war games, which have, depending on the rule set, something like Warhammer 40K, which is just everywhere, maybe and to Battletech or X-Wing miniatures, something a little bit tighter. Certainly with war games, I've seen more of that because certain power builds, certain meta lists, certain armies just do obliterate everything. Board games being a little bit more self-contained, even if it's a fighting type game or a competitive type game, or even just a war game, a board game war game, it's a little bit more controlled environment. So I've never seen that. I'd be curious if anyone saw that. I have had an experience where someone just was like, not really playing the game and just doing their own thing and ruining the vibe of the game. That's happened. So is that like a silent mini rage type quit? This recently happened. We were playing Conan. I love Conan, the board game. Such innovative mechanics. I'm just going to leave it right there because otherwise this will just morph into a Conan vlog. But essentially Conan is an overlord-based game. The players play Conan and friends. The overlord controls the minions and the boss monster, and you have a scenario. But what's unique about Conan is it essentially plays like an RPG. So on your turn, I know we got to dive into it a little bit because I got to frame the question. When it's your turn, you have power gems that you can burn to do different actions. And you can do as many as you want out of sequence, however you want. So if it's your turn, you can move. Then you can open a door, then you can attack, then you can break an object, then you can toss an axe to someone else. You can throw your sword, you can jump, you can leap, you can manipulate things. You're limited by that. Of course, you only regain a certain amount of stamina every turn, and if you get hurt, you lose stamina. So it is very much resource management, but it's one versus many. It's one versus many. And I was playing the Overlord against Conan and friends, and this player, he's just like, so it's his turn. He's not attacking. We're playing the scenario where there's two ships broadside, and it's sea to sea combat, and you're kind of leaping over the ship. Other people are leaping over the ship. You've got archers. He's just like leaping over to the enemy ship, and he's not engaging any of the archers. He's not attacking. He's just like opening chests and seeing what's in there. And he's not really participating. It just brought down the whole game. And I'm not talking about like some crazy tactics where it's like, Fritz, we need you to get in here. And it's like, no, dude, I got to go to the chest because maybe there's some explosives in there and I'm going to grab it. Like just hold the ship, man. I'll be right back. I'm going to jump on the chests and grab stuff. And I go looting. That would have been like, okay, I don't necessarily agree with that, but it's your character. You're trying to contribute. You're trying to do something. Or we were playing Zombicide Modern, and we got the keys, we got the gas, we got the food. We're like, everybody get to the car. And I won't name names. One player, I love you, brother. He's like, oh, we need some more guns. I mean, your answer to everything is guns, right? But like, we got enough guns. Like, we're ready to win the scenario. And we're like, come on, get to the car, man. Zombies are spawning everywhere. We're in the red zone. Abominations dropping, double bombs dropping. And you're like, we're like, you're going to lose the scenario. He's like, oh, we need more guns. Like, no, we're not taking this into the next scenario. Like, come on, get to the car. You've already got 2 machine guns. Like, you're good. Like, it's good. So, it's not even like that type of scenario where you're like, okay, you want to get some more stuff. But this guy was just running around, just like opening doors, opening chests, not contributing. And I'm like, well, as the overlord, this is working in my favor because I'm just going to now, instead of 4 controlled by Conan and friends, it's 3. I'm like going to smash them. And it was just very weird. So that kind of brought things down, brought the game down, the vibe of the game. The tempo, the pulse of the game. Crom is most displeased, but I wouldn't necessarily call that rage quitting or flipping a table. So I've, in terms of a Q&A, I've never seen it. I won't say it won't happen. I won't say it hasn't happened. But I think even competitive board games are a little bit more controlled. And I think it's a different type of environment. But of course, I'm going to have to turn it over to you guys. Rage quitting, table flipping. Flipping out on a board game. I mean, you want to get that invite back, but even if you don't care and you lose it because you've got nothing to lose, that's someone else's property. That's someone else's stuff. And the respect to that, the respect to the hobby, the respect to the other players, their time, and just respect to the fact that I'm going to damage something that, depending on the game, it literally might be irreplaceable. So, I can't see that happening. But someone prove me wrong or not. Have you ever seen someone rage quit in a board gaming environment?